Beck. I'm an illustrator and a painter, specifically. When I was very young, my parents did enroll me in art school, summer program, when I was 7 years old. And just prior to that, we attended a PTA meeting, my parents and I, and my teacher had mentioned that I had shown unusual aptitude for art and that I was always preoccupied with it. And so that evening when we came home from the meeting, my father, who was a bit of an artist, he really didn't take it to any great degree, but he liked to dabble in it, and he did some cartooning when he was in the Navy. So he brought me over to the couch, and on the coffee table was a Mickey Mouse comic book, and he took a piece of paper and a pencil, and he just drew this thing out perfectly. And when I saw him do that, I instantly, it was like an epiphany for me, I guess, at that young age, where I realized that instead of just scribbling stuff off the end of my brain, I could actually look at something and copy it. I can't remember ever wanting to be a fireman or a cowboy or a policeman, or I never really thought about anything other than being an artist. As far as my training and my focused interests, I attended Wright State University. And I took some academic courses, but I took some art courses as well, art history, drawing, color theory, life drawing. And after a year of that, my parents were transferred up to Chicago. And I had already done my own research on other schools because I wanted to get into a total art school. So I did some research and decided that I would like to try the American Academy of Art in Chicago. And I was there for 1 year, and it was right down the street from the Art Institute of Chicago. And I spent an awful lot of time just going to the museum and studying on my own. And just live in that environment because it had so much knowledge in it. And then I finished up my last 2 years at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, which was a few blocks away from the American Academy, and I majored in animation because Walt Disney had graduated from there, and I figured if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. So I graduated in the middle of the year at the end of February, beginning of March of '72, and went out and hired a headhunter and got my first job in a corporate in-house art department. And there I was drawing on the first day. During that first year, I worked at that in-house art department. There was a shakeup at the Disney Studios out in Burbank, of which Don Bluth was one of the main animators, and he wanted to go on his own, to start his own company. And he convinced a large group of the animators that were employed by Disney to come with him. Disney Studios put out a worldwide call for people to apply to take their school. I sent a reply in and some sample work. This went on for well over a year, where about every 3 months I would send in a packet of drawings. And I wouldn't hear from them for weeks on end. So after about 18 months, 16, 18 months of this constant review and sending stuff in, I was offered an interview, a personal interview out at the studios in Burbank. And that was about the time prior to my marriage to my beautiful wife now, Kitty. we decided to take our honeymoon out there, and I had established an appointment on a certain day. So we went out there for a 2-week vacation. During that 2 weeks, we traveled from Arizona to California and up and down the coast a little bit, and ending up in Burbank. After that interview, it was an amazing interview. It did offer me a position in the school. And again, it was a review program that went on for several months, where at any point in time, you would be cut. And so we thought about it, and I elected to decline their offer. So I took a different path, and I began working in the studios of Chicago. And my real start in professional, in the profession of an illustrator, was when I began working in those studios.